Ratchet and Clank walkthrough. So this is the video where we will be getting the Magneboots, and the Magneboots are going to be pretty great for multiple reasons. Number one, you kind of need them to beat the game, and number two, you also need them to even begin continuing in the game. So this level is pretty creative. You get to play as Clank throughout most of it. Now eventually we will be getting an O2 mask, which will allow Ratchet to come on down, because there's a few places that we need Ratchet to get to. And this is also the world that has the health upgrades, and I don't get that yet because again we need the O2 mask, but the health upgrades are great because the first time you get a health upgrade it will give you 1 extra health, so you can take 5 hits instead of 4, and the second time you get the health upgrade then you will be able to take 8 hits because you'll have 8 health, and that is extremely amazing because as soon as you get that 8 health, you're basically invincible. I mean, if you're still playing carefully, it's pretty hard to die when you have 8 health. So the cost for that will be around 35 to 40,000 bolts, so just make sure, at this point, I would probably recommend not spending as much money if you can help it, just so you have enough for that health upgrade, because that health upgrade will keep you alive way more than a bunch of weapons will. So anyway, for Clank, you're going to be running into these robots again, which we ran into earlier, but for this one they're going to have a little bit more of a use, and remember they respawn, so you can just, you can fling them at any number of enemies and take them out, and you don't have to worry about them at all. So, and also they can't jump as it said there, so you're going to need to put them into those kind of teleporters that will elevate them up to different platforms, and if you walk into those elevators you'll get teleported to the higher platform too. Now there's a guy in here that you can't, like, he blocks your way, but he can't really do, it's not a place that you can really go to because you don't have Ratchet, and it's basically it. You can kill him if you want to, and I think I do later, but for some reason, these guys are like really bad at following directions. When you first learned how to use these guys, they were really good at it, but in this one, they're just really bad at learning how to follow these directions. Now, these spiky enemies, we're going to be running into them often pretty soon here, and they can be pretty annoying, but there's some easier ways to take care of them. Thankfully, for when you're playing as Clank on this world, there's not really a whole lot they can do to you as long as you don't get too close to him, and especially if you get a bunch of these robots, then you'll be able to take him out pretty much immediately. So, pick up as many of these robots as you can, and I'm just taking a look at this frog here because I have really bad experiences with these frogs, because one of the earlier levels where there were a bunch of these yellow or green ones and they were coming down from the vents, and like they just killed me a bunch of times, so I'm kind of paranoid, but turns out they're not really that difficult, and as I've said before, when it comes to playing as Clank, being aggressive usually gets you hit less than trying to play carefully. So with those frogs, if you just walk right on up and punch them, that's usually the best way to get rid of them. If you have enough of these guys, then you can use them to take out the frogs, but one hit will get rid of your little robot friends, so it's usually best to try to save them if you can, just so you don't have to go back and collect them all the time. when you want to put these robots into these elevators, then you need to use the enter command, and that menu is brought up just by pushing and holding the triangle button and then being able to use it there. So the reason I kind of walked past there was because I wanted to get the camera oriented correctly. The cameras are really weird in this game, but anyway, finally killed that guy, and that seems to be a guy for some reason. Oh, okay. Oh, you do have to come here, really? Anyway, that seems to be a guy that doesn't respawn, because when we come back later, he won't be there, so that's good. But anyways, I didn't think you had to come this way, so you do have to go that way. And then you can put the guys into that little robot house, and if you want to take a look at the platform over here, if you have Ratchet, you'll be able to jump and climb onto that. But we don't have Ratchet, and Clank can't really jump for crap, so we can't worry about it right now. So we're just gonna keep on heading this way. So there's a couple of boxes, also a health orb in case you took any damage, and a few more frogs, thankfully not many more. And then we're going to be learning how to do a couple of more interesting mechanics with these bots. Now, I thought it was kind of weird how we didn't really use these bots as often as I had hoped. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the whole game that you get to play specifically as Ratchet and use a big army of bots for yourself. And I think only once we get to use the bots with 10 of them, and that's in a way later level. That one's a lot of fun. Now you'll notice another one of those spiky guys over there, and again, if you have Ratchet, you can wall jump up above that guy with the claw, and then you can get a golden, the golden bolt that is up on top there. But I don't think Clank can wall jump, and I haven't tried, so if you can, then you can get it with Clank, but otherwise you'll have to wait until you get a hold of that O2 mask to be able to come back here as Ratchet. Still, I think I go back and take care of that guy, so collect as many of these as you can. You're gonna need 6 of them, so I have 2 of them, and the other 4 I believe are down in that little pit there. And I'm also just trying to be careful, make sure that I get rid of all of the enemies, because the last thing I want is to die here. I think for this area the checkpoint is once again back at your ship. So there's a 3rd guy. Now we just need 3 more. I think here's the 2nd, and the final one is kind of over to the side here. And there's actually 2 more you can pick up if you need to. I think one of mine might have died, I don't actually know. But anyway, so now I have 5, and there's the guy right there. So I'm gonna come up here, pick him up, and I think I go and get rid of that claw guy first, because I thought there might have been something I could have used with Clank, but you have to be Ratchet to be able to get up there. And okay, maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. That empty space is where you use Ratchet to get up there. This guy, I think, is just a nuisance, so there's really no reason to take him out other than to say that you took him out. So, yeah, there we go. You know, great commentary, right? I have no idea what I'm talking about. I forget. I mean, that corridor looks exactly the same, and there's 2 kind of rooms on either side, and I thought, you know, it would make sense to me that you would have to kill the enemy to get to the golden bolt, but you don't, so I don't know. Anyway, once you have all 6, if any of them for some reason died, be sure to pick them up again, but just send them through and then make them enter this little house, and then this door should open. So as you can see on the map, I'm getting even closer to that question mark. Now here we get to play a little bit with pressure plates, and this is where it can be a little bit annoying trying to control the guys and make them stand on a pressure plate at the same time. So I'm just going to blow up some of these boxes because I don't want any of them to accidentally kill my guys. And that can be really bad. I think if they walk past these boxes, then they actually activate them, and then you have to go back and find them. And I think I actually end up having to come back and pick up a guy. That may have been in a different part, but anyway, for this, if you stand on the plate, then you should, if those other 2 bots are in the right spot, you should be able to have them follow you through the door. But this is where things can get a little bit annoying, because you make them wait, and that makes all of them within your range wait. So if you tell them to follow you, then that guy on the button's gonna stop following you. So what you need to do is make them follow you, and then make them stand next to the door, and then make them wait next to the door. Then you stand on the button, and then you'll be able to make them follow you through the doorway. So right here, I'm just going to make them wait and do exactly what I just said. Jump up onto here. pick up some of the bolts that I guess I didn't get before, and now all of them will follow me through. So that's same thing basically with this, except for here you need them to get through because you can't blow up those boxes. So just come over here, step on the button, and then have them follow you through. And then you can get health if you need it. I don't really know at what point you would have lost health, but anyway, you can give yourself a little bit of a shortcut here if you just blow up that box and then get rid of all the indestructible or slightly indestructible boxes. And then you can get rid of a few of the others for some extra bolts. Now you're going to see some more frogs over there in the background and yet another robot here. So we should have about 4. And you can send them to attack that frog. I think I end up taking a little bit of damage here because okay, no, my robot friends went and killed him, but unfortunately it looks like I lost a robo friend, so that was a little bit unfortunate. I think the frog might have gotten lucky and killed him, and I was kind of hoping, like, you know, is he over here? No, he's all the way back at the beginning, so I had to go all the way through this again, and pretty much if you do this without messing up with that frog, then it's not too bad. So anyway, I pick him up, put him over here, make him wait, and then do that exact same process that I already did, and I just have to do it again with this stupid robot. So then we come through now. Since those guys are waiting on that button, I don't have to do anything other than walk through and then make them all follow me. So now I can walk on over here and send them into this teleporter. So you can step into the teleporter too, or take your time and get rid of a couple more boxes so you can let those bolts stack up. And I think you're still going to need about 6 of these guys. So another guy is up here, and I believe the final one will be in the next room. So you're going to need to leave him here once again, so just kind of come on over and put him next to the door. And then you can jump up here, and you can get health if you need it, but I don't really know at this point why you would need it. And there's the final guy you're going to need. Now there's a bunch of there's a bunch of these explosive boxes you're going to want to destroy first, and if you don't, then you might end up killing all of your guys, and that would just be not good. I mean, you'd have to redo all those rooms all over again. So do that. And then the best way here is just to free this guy, and you can make him wait, or you can step on the button and make them all follow you. Sometimes you set them too far back so they can't follow you because they don't hear your signal, but either way, just make sure you have all 6 and then put them on up here. Even if you get this far with about 4 or 5, put them into the room first so that way you know that you already have those and you'll only be picking up the ones that you need. So send them into the room, and that'll pretty much be it for the level.
These Magneboots